Okay, here I am. This is Lori with the Quilters Headquarters in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Today we are going to do block 2 of the London Blues Block of the Month by Wing and a Prayer Design. And so let's get started. So block 2 is going to be fairly simple. We are going to make 4 flying geese. Let me get my pointers out here. All right, we're going to make 4 flying geese and this little section here, and then just a 4 patch. So easy peasy, let's get to it. So we want to make 4 flying geese. I have my blocks all laid out. Isn't that nice? I'll slide them over here for the meantime. So the 4 flying geese method, the designers from Wing and a Prayer do this basically the same thing, either with Deb Tucker tools or the Ultimate Flying Geese Tooler from Creative Grids. So you guys all know that I am a fan of Tucker tools, or Studio 180 as they're well known. Try to get that glare out of there. This is the Creative Grids Ultimate Flying Geese tool. Either one of these work fine. I guess I have a preference to the wing clipper, just because I've been using it for many years. It does 2 more sizes than the Ultimate Flying Geese, but either way, both of them are pretty easy to use, and they use the same techniques. The Ultimate Flying Geese does have their blocks the size of what you need to cut printed right on it. That's kind of handy, and I did notice that for what we're doing, we're going to end up with 2x4 inch finished flying geese. They go a 1/4 inch bigger on the big square. So I didn't do that. I did what the directions on the pattern say, which is to cut, let me get my pattern out here. I believe it is 5.5 inch square for the large square. So you're going to have 1 5.5 inch square and 4 3.25 inch squares. And so we line them up. Now, what you probably have done in the past is taken your magic wand and drawn a line on both sides and sewn on that line right down the middle. I'm not going to do that, but one thing I am going to do, you guys have seen me do this before. If you go to my wing clipper video, and wing clipper with less bulk, I think is what it's called, I will put it down below the video when we get it done. But what I'm going to do is I'm just laying a ruler right across right here, and this part right here I'm going to cut out. So I'm going from corner to corner on this big block. I drew my line on this top one and corner to corner, and what this is going to do, it's going to cut out 2 extra layers right in the corner of the flying geese. All right, so I just drew a line, and I only need to do it on 2 of them, and I'm actually going to just cut that off. My big scissors would have been easier, but this works. Let's see. And right there. All right. So I'll lay those back on, put it up in the corner, and in the corner, and this matches right there where I cut them off. And I'm going to next take it to the sewing machine. And if you haven't watched block 1 video, I do quite a nice little demonstration on the diagonal seam tape. And so that's how I'm going to do this now. So normally we're going to sew a 1/4 inch on either side of the middle line. So I'm going to use my diagonal seam tape here. So I'll show you what we're doing here. Okay, so I'm going to put this corner of my layout here to the side of my 1/4 inch foot. And then I'm going to follow this line. Oh yes, it would be easier if my tape went all the way down here. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to just go ahead and draw the line then, because I don't have my tape long enough. So we'll do it the old-fashioned way. I'll draw my line on either side. I'm using my Studio 180 magic wand, still comes in handy. And now I will sew right on these 2 lines, okay? Something's rubbing over here. There we go. The nice thing about doing it this way is you can trim your flying geese down to perfect, and you make 4 at a time, which is always handy. All right. So if you haven't ever used either one of these tools before, this is a good one to learn, because you will find in your quilting career that you make an awful lot of flying geese in your quilts. All right. So then I'm going to cut right down the middle there. Need a longer ruler. Okay. And I'm just going to cut corner to corner. Take it over to my quick little pressing area here. Okay, well that was weird. I lost Wi-Fi connection there for a minute, but I'm back. So what I was starting to say is I try not to do any heavy pressing when I'm working with these bias lines. So I do a quick little finger press. That seems to help keep it straight when I take it over to the iron. All right. Okay. I have a nice hot iron here. Off camera, but not too far away. I also have a nice little wool pressing mat that helps keep it laying nice and flat. So the next thing we do, this I can probably use my tape here. It's short enough. So now we're just going to sew again 1/4 inch either side of the middle line, like so. I don't need to draw those. I can use my diagonal seam tape here. All right, so I have this laying in the corner, and I'm going to put the, I don't know what you can see there, I'm going to put the corner here on the right side of my 1/4 inch foot, and then I will follow. So I'll get a couple bites in, a couple stitches in, and then I'll put this corner over to the 1/4 inch line right here. So this red line is the middle line down the center, and I want a 1/4 inch away. So I'll follow this line all the way up on my corner here. Easy peasy. Do the same thing with this one. Lay this in the corner. Put my corner tip to the right side of my foot, and then follow this line all the way up. All right. Turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. put that alongside the right side, get a stitch or two, and then just follow that black line. Easy peasy, no extra drawing that way. You guys always see me use leaders and enders, especially when I'm trying to feed a point in under the needle and nothing gets stuck in there. All right, we'll cut this in half. And cut this in half. And we have 4 flying geese in the making here. I don't think that cut. It sure didn't. Okay. Now the nice thing about that, where I showed you right away where that first trim is, if we hadn't have trimmed those little corners off, you would have 2 extra layers right here in the point. And that gets pretty thick when you're trying to sew it into everything else. So I'll give it a quick press over here. And then this is where your wing clipper or your ultimate flying geese will come in handy. So I'm going to use, I'll demonstrate both of them, I guess. My first one's going to be the wing clipper. I don't know what you can all see on camera. All right, so the wing clipper. So the first thing I'm going to do is this line that goes all the way down, and we're doing a 2x4 finish, so 2.5 by 4.5 unfinished. I'm sorry about that glare. I'll try and tilt it. And so I'll lay this long line right along here and come down to the point and lay it and trim it. This way, and then turn it around. All right, you get the idea. Most of my students here that have been with me a while have seen this done over and over again. See how nicely that just fits just about perfect. All right. And then turn it around. Now I'm laying my 4.5 inch and my 2.5 inch lines right there on the good corner that I just trimmed up. And it should match right here at this X as well. Nice. I'll do another one like that. Oh, let's see here. Using this tool. I'm still using the wing clipper tool by Studio 180. Lined it up here and here. This is real interesting, you guys. I'm not used to doing these kinds of things right under the camera, so it's been kind of fun learning how to make videos. Editing took me a lot longer than I knew it was going to. All right, so I got 2 more here. We'll use the ultimate flying geese for a change. Gotta get these wings pressed down. Okay, so with the ultimate flying geese, it's basically the same. You have your lines here. She has them nice and clearly marked. So here's the 2x4, which is what we're ending up with. And it also has, it shows us trim 1, trim 2. So we'll just go ahead and follow those directions. All right, so trim 1. 2x4. So I'm going to lay that right on those lines. And that looks about right. Now, Creative Grids, has those little grippies on the bottom. Work pretty good. So this is trim 1. And it's really hard to get on the wrong lines because it basically only fits one way. Turn it around, pull this to trim 2, and then I will lay it on my 2x4. Hopefully this works. Make sure it's the same as this one. Yep, it will be. Make sure. I've been using the wing clipper many years, so I know how that goes. This is a little bit new to me. That was pretty easy. One more time. Let's see, go back to trim 1. On my 2x4 inch line. So like I said, you can see if it's going to be screwy. If you get on the wrong lines, you can see you're going to trim too much that way or not enough another way. So, you know, just stand back and take a look at it before you go whacking away at it. You guys have heard me say that before, haven't you? All right. Whoops. And then I need to turn my ruler to trim 2. It says trim 2 right there. I'm still on my 2x4. It slid a little bit on me. There we go. That looks a little bit better. All right, so there you get the benefit of 2 different tools. I would definitely suggest if you're gonna be doing much quilting at all that you invest in one or the other. All right. The next thing we're gonna do is easy peasy. We are going to make the 4 patch, and according to our directions right here, we're going to lay out the let's see, this is fabric 11, going the top left, bottom right. You know, probably wouldn't matter as long as these two are opposite one another, but I like to avoid confusion and put them all in the proper order. So I'll go ahead and sew the 4 patch together. And oh, the other thing we're going to do is sew this fabric to this fabric. So this is fabric 11 to the top of the flying geese. So I'll just go ahead and chain piece all of these, and you can fast forward it, or I'll fast forward it for you. Hold on. Here goes nothing. All right. Okay, so I got these all sewed together, and I went ahead and pressed these rows to the darker fabric, fabric 11. And so they go together like this. That way I can nest these 2 seams. Let's see, where's the camera? Right there. So I'll nest them right in there. I will try and fix the lighting on my next one. I don't know, it started out light enough and then it changed its mind, I guess. You guys put up with me, please. I'm still new to this. All right, so we will sew these together. All right, so now when we press these, we can actually split that middle seam right there and press that away. Hold on. Okay, isn't that cool? They lay pretty nice and flat. And there's very little, you know, well, not as much thickness there. So that's pretty cool. I like that when it's feasible. I press that. I open that little corner up and I press it like that. So the next thing we're going to do now is put our block together. This should go pretty fast. So we're just going to get our middle block in here. We'll lay it out like the picture. Let's see, how much can you see on camera? Let's see, I think, can I zoom in, zoom out? There we go. Can, for the most part, you get the idea. So these are going to face, let's see, fabric 5 is the same as this. So these two fabrics are the same. Of course, you guys already know your fabrics are going to be blue, right? And then my little flying geese units go like this, this. All right, stand back, look at it. Does it look right? I think so. These go that way. These are the same as the middle fabrics, and the geese face out. So we'll get these sewed together and we'll have a finished block in no time. Let's see, I think I'll press that way and press that way. Just finger pressing for now, so I can keep the going the right way, and finger press that way. All right, I'll get this one next. Okay, I'll take these rows over and press them, and I will be right back. Okay, so I pressed the middle layer to the center, and I pressed the outside rows to the outside blocks, and we'll sew these together. And we'll hope all these seams nest up really nicely. That's our goal. Fits really good right there. Okay, you can see I have a little extra bulk in here. I'm matching it up to this corner here, to that seam line. I'm going to go ahead and put just a little pin in there, and I'm going to ease it in. It will fit, and that's where my handy dandy bamboo stiletto comes in. So I'm just going to make sure I ease it in. I don't want to press or stretch anything, but I can ease it in with my stiletto and then still match up my seams. Not sure how that happened. I must have sewed something wrong or cut something wrong. It happens. Then I like to make sure it matches at this end too. So I'm just going to make another pin right there. This one actually lays pretty flat, but I like to, you know me, I like to be as close to perfect as I can. Alright, that one didn't go too bad. Looks pretty darn good that way. We'll get this one sewn the same way. I always start at the end and hope they match in the seam lines. And this one does pretty perfect right there. This one is pretty good too. Lays nice and flat right up to the seam. And my ends are pretty good. So this one actually went pretty nice and straight, matched up where it was supposed to. Alright. I'll press it and be right back. Alright, there's the finished block. What do you think? I kind of like it. It's, you know, the color choices were just all in that line of Henry Glass fabric. It's called Plant Kindness. So normally I wouldn't put them together, but since the designer of the fabric did, I thought, well, I'm going to go for it. So I really do kind of like it. So stay tuned. I'll put this in my playlist on YouTube, and I'll start working on block 3, which I think is due, I don't know, the time flies so fast, probably in a month or so. Thanks, guys.